wherever you are. Namaste. Thank you for joining this class today in side body. So I'm going to go straight into my mat so we can start. And the first thing that we're going to do actually is coming onto our backs. So give yourself a moment to come to your back, relax your shoulders, put your feet down. This is usually called constructive rest. So as we are bending the knees, we have an opportunity to settle our pelvis a little more, usually very naturally because our body shape has that. We have an arch in the lower back area. And when we are in this position with the knees bent, we can feel that area flatten a little bit more. So give yourself a moment here, starting to breathe through your nose. And if it's hard today, if you feel congested and it's not possible to breathe through your nose, of course, you change that or you modify it, or you do a little bit of a game in between or a play in between breathing through the nose and breathing through the mouth, okay? Good, today we are working side body. So we are going to do a couple of things first here, down, and then we'll come up from here, okay? So as we start, the first thing that I'm going to invite you to do is to keep your feet wide or bring them towards the sides of your mat. Elongate your arms overhead. And if there's a little bit of an arch happening now in your lower back, don't fight it, let it be as it is. And reach back with your fingertips. So I'm going one hand, one side first, then the other. And as you do that, notice the movement happening in the side of your body and perhaps also in your hips. Maybe you can feel your pelvis also, of course, following the movement, and maybe even your knees, okay? So notice that. And then after a few of those, see if you can challenge yourself to firm the pelvis a little more and keep that stretch going a couple more times without so much of that movement in the pelvis. So now what we are doing is to focus more into that side body without much of the movement in the hips, okay? Good, then just bring your hands to your elbows, keep pulling through your elbows up away from the head. And this time we're going to try and bring the navel in a little bit and let the knees go to the sides. So we're going to do like a windshield wiper motion, one way and then the other. Just a couple of times, even though we are doing side body, we are of course trying to activate and pump blood throughout our whole system. Okay, so I'm doing one more side to side. And then I'm coming back to center. I'm going to release the arms just for a moment here and keeping the knees bent the same as we are. I'm extending again my arms overhead. This time I'm going to catch my right wrist or forearm with my left hand. I'm going to pull a little further. And then if you can, you're going to pull a tiny bit over towards your left. Now, as I'm doing that, and I have my cat helping, as I'm doing that, I'm trying to feel that stretch and elongation in the right side of my body. And I still have my head and my upper back touching down, okay? So take a deep inhalation here, long, fluid, steady through the nose. If not, it's through the mouth. And the exhale is helping us release also a little bit of tension, maybe that we are holding in our bodies. I'm coming back to center, and then I'm going to switch sides. With my right hand, I'm going to catch my left wrist or forearm, and I'm pulling a little further up with a tail in my face. And then I'm going to go over to the right. And I'm trying to keep, again, my upper back and my torso, they are grounded. And I'm feeling a little bit more of that elongation, that sensation of opening in the left side of my body. My head is heavy, breathing in and out. Then I'm slowly coming back towards the center. And as I come back, I'm going to change the position of my arms. I'm going to lace my fingers and bring the hands behind my head. I'm laughing. And then from here, I'm going to listen carefully. So here, what I'm going to do is to hold my head with my hands. And instead of staying completely heavy on my mat, what I'm going to do is to lift my head one hair off the floor. we've done this in the past. So if you join my classes before, you've done this. So it's very, very minimal, the lift that I'm doing. So my head is still parallel to the floor. The elbows are hovering onto the floor, and keeping that and letting my head drop into my hands. I'm going to move both my elbows over to the right. I'm looking up at the same time, then coming back to center. Again, I'm going to create a gentle pull of my neck and my head back, and then I'm going over to the left and back to center. When you get there, release the head, drop the elbows, take a breath here. And we are going to repeat the same thing. And I'm going to let you, and I'm going to share a secret. My mat is very sticky, which I love because I need that for me. So it's very difficult to slide on my mat. If you have a base underneath you that it's more, that slides more, then you don't need to lift the hands or the head, just that hair off the floor that I said, okay? For me, if I don't do that, then I get stuck, okay? So you choose. We're going to repeat it. Again, I'm lifting my head a tiny bit off the floor because my mat is sticky, and I'm going to go over to the right, then back to the center, over to the left, and back to the center. One more time. Inhaling, I'm going to the right, sending my head back to center and letting it drop into my hands, over to the left, back to center. And if you're doing same as me, release the head, release the arms, take a breath here. Good, and now we're going to extend, actually, no, let's change this. Let's roll over to the side and press up. Someone is doing yoga with me today. And I'm going to take a block. So if you have something like a block that you can use, that's great. If not, it can be a cushion that it's a little compact. That could be also a good way to replace the block, okay? I'm going to change to see if you can see me. And I'm going to come onto my back again. And this time, what I'm going to do is to use my flat block right underneath the sacral joint. The sacral joint is what I call the connection between the very end of your spine and the tailbone, okay? So there is like one end, right? What we call the sacrum, the very end of the spine, and then there is this little triangular bone, let's say, that it's all the way at the end. So I'm trying to set that block right below or beneath that conjunction, let's say. Good, then from there, what I'm going to do is keep both my knees bent again. I'm going to extend again my arms overhead. And now I'm going to walk both my feet over to the right. When I get there, and you may feel already that you are opening up that left side in your body, notice first if this feels a little intense. If it feels intense, this is where you're staying today. It's great, okay? If you want to go with me a little further, you feel fine, no pain, then with the right hand, I'm going to catch the left wrist, and I'm going to try and create a little bit of a half moon shape. So I'm keeping that line in my left side, bowing more, right? And opening up a little more. And you're gonna breathe here. And I'm going to give a third variation, an option, not for everyone, because this one may become a little more intense, and it is to extend the legs if that feels that like it's something that you can do. I do not have a lot of space because of my wall, but the idea is to find again that half moon shape or crescent shape as we breathe into the left side of the body. Nice, one more breath. And then before coming back, I'm re-bending my knees, walking the feet back towards my mat, resetting my trunk towards the center. Feel your base again there. And then we're going to re-extend the arms, right? And we're going to switch sides. So now what I'm going to do is to catch with my left hand the right wrist. I'm going to pull. I'm going to go over to my left. And you can imagine that I won't be able to go very far to my left. I'm going to walk over to the left with my feet. And wherever you feel like it's the place for you today to stay, this is it, okay? This is already a really nice way to open the side body. We are also here igniting more hip strength as we firm into the midline. And if you feel like you are compelled today to go a little further, you can extend the legs. For me, it's a little more challenging because there's a bed in between. But you try and extend there if you can, and breathe into your side. For another breath, drop your head, soften the face. And then you remember, bend the knees, put your feet down on the mat or the floor to return to center. And here we are back. Okay, beautiful. Let's release the arms here to the sides. Don't come out just yet. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. And let's use this shape because we have it already here. I'm going to challenge you a little bit. I'm going to press through my feet, firm my glutes, so I'm really igniting more of a fire reaction with my glutes wrapping into my body, so I can lift my pelvis and change the setting of the block into the medium height. And then I'm going to go back down again. So now I'm becoming a little taller, which will also help with that lengthening action in the sides, okay? From there, I'm going to bring my shoulder blades a little closer to one another. And just to create more length in the side body, what I'm going to do is to bring the chest towards my chin. So I'm trying to lift the chest towards the chin, bringing it towards me. And on the other end, what I'm trying to do is to visualize the space between my lowest ribs and my hips. So you know that space in between, what we usually call the mid-torso or midsection, and I'm going to try and make it longer than what it is. I know it sounds funny and weird, but the idea is that you move the chest a little closer to you and the pelvis stays far away from your chest, so you create a little bit more space in between those lowest ribs and the hips, okay? You can release the arms if you want, or just hold or bring the hands to the pelvis. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling here. Good. And for the ones who want to go with me for a tiny bit more, same idea again. I'm going to fire my glutes. I'm going to tone my thighs. So as I'm hugging in, I'm lifting my pelvis. And this time I'm going to challenge myself to go a little higher. This may be extremely intense. So if this is too much, you stay in the one before, okay? I'm putting my block long side, same as my tailbone, my sacrum. So it follows the line of my spine. And I'm also doing the same as before. I'm trying to catch that block or put that block right underneath that sacral junction, okay? And again, I'm lengthening the sides. I'm bringing my shoulder blades towards one another. My feet are steady. My hips are firm into the midline of my body. And again, I'm going to try and find a little bit more of that space in between my lowest ribs and my pelvis. So I'm lifting my chest towards my chin and I'm breathing. Nice. Now to get out, this one is the tallest, right, of the settings if you are here with me. So again, a lot of awareness into that connection of the gluteal muscles. The back body needs to be really strong, supporting the front of the body so you can lift a tiny bit over that block and take it out and keep that connection slowly to bring your body back down. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then with a gentle motion, nothing forceful, bring your knees towards the chest and rock a little bit side to side. Give yourself a moment here to maybe add a little bit of circling, just a way to massage the lower back because we were really back bending, okay? So I was tricking you into back bending, but back bending, even though well, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to go very technical, but back bending requires a lot of elongation. So we were playing with that. Good, super. Let's put the feet down, then take one arm overhead, roll over to the side, press yourself up towards a seat. And for your seat, you may want to have a little bit of elevation. So I'm going to take one of my blankets from my basket, and I'm going to sit on my blanket, and I'm going to cross my legs, okay? So from here now, again, let's work a little bit on side body. We are working today. So I'm going, it's not very like book-like that it has to look a certain way, but yes, I'm going to use this shape to help myself open one side and then go over to the other side. Feel that in your side. Sometimes one side feels different than the other. So you can even stay there and take a breath, then go over and pause and return and repeat. Good. After 2, 3 of those, I'm going to change the angle of this. So now I'm going to put one arm behind me, like towards the back of my mat, let's say, and I'm going to do that opening in the side a little different, right? So I'm going more into that diagonal. Good. And I'm adding one more. So I'm doing more, an average of 3. Good. And now I'm going over the other side, right? So I'm going to stretch over my head, then go back. One more. Good, and as I come back, I'm adding a little different, extending arms up overhead, lengthen through the sides, bring the front ribs in just for a moment here, feel the side body elongating, then turn the palms to face forward, take one inhalation here, and with the exhale, we are going to fold. You don't have to go really far. You can just put your fingertips down like I'm showing. Maybe you cannot see, but my fingertips are there on the floor. And then I'm leaning over and swinging a little bit side to side. So I'm also inviting my lumbar muscles to stretch a little and open up. Nice. Then from there, I'm coming slowly up. I'm going to switch the cross of my legs, and just the one that was behind, I'm putting it in front. I'm sitting tall again. And this time I'm going to inhale one more time, arms up overhead. With the exhale, right hand goes to the left knee, left hand comes behind me as a helper. So I'm touching down into my blanket or mat or the floor. And I'm using my right hand to gently pull into my left knee as my left knee is pushing into the hand, so I can rotate my belly and chest over to the left. Once I get there, I'm trying to soften through the shoulders, elongate the cervical spine, chin is off the chest, and take a deep breath in again. And use the exhale to relax and release. Then I'm inhaling, bringing my arms both up again. Exhaling, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind. And again, I'm using my hands as helpers or training wheels so I can push and elongate the spine. We don't want to round the spine here. And I'm also using my left hand to even pull my knee in so it helps me create that twist of the belly and the chest over to the right. When I get there, I try to notice, am I tensing too much in my shoulders? Can I soften a little there? Can I lengthen through the cervical spine and breathe? Then I'm slowly again inhaling, coming back to neutral center, exhale and release. Extend the legs, wiggle a little bit here. We still have some time to go. And now I'm going to come up to standing. So I'm removing my support And from the standing position, what I'm going to do here is to check my feet. I'm going to keep them hip distance apart. I'm going to spread the toes. I'm going to make sure that I'm lifting through the inner arches, setting my the center of my heels down and sensing the balls of my feet. So in the base of my toes, I really want to press. It's like I want to make an imprint with my feet. I'm saying this because the base is very important. The more we can root through our legs, the more we can create space in the rest of the body, okay? So from there, I'm toning my legs, I'm toning my glutes, like what we were doing when we were in that back bending position. And as I'm wrapping with my glutes into my sacrum and sending my tailbone down towards the earth, I'm going to inhale, turn my palms to face up, and send the arms up overhead. Once you get there, lace the fingers and point your index fingers up towards the skies. And my glutes are still moving down. It's almost like if I want to lengthen them towards my heels, okay? We keep the face soft. We keep elongating through the sides. And now I'm going to do a tiny push of my right hip to the right, almost like if I wanted to like kick someone or play with someone and do a little kick with my hip. And once I'm there, I'm going to again elongate through the sides. And I'm going to keep the chest facing forward to lean over to my left. When I get there to the left side, I'm going to again firm both my feet and bring the left shoulder blade forward a little more and stretch my arms a little further. It looks like nothing is happening, but a lot is happening. Push through the feet and breathe. Push through the feet, come back up. Good. Reset your base. Fire those glutes again. Elongate through the front. Bring the front ribs in. And when you're ready, now we are kicking with our hips over to the left. So we are going over to the second side, okay? Once you have that, elongate through the arms again. And we go over to the right. And in this right side, once I get there, I reset my feet steady. I bring my right shoulder blade forward so it's not coming backwards, right? And then I'm letting my torso fold a little more. Good, we come back to center and we exhale and release. Good, shake it a little, ha. Nice, now we are going to do a modification of this shape that we just did, a little different, but similar. I'm going to widen my feet. They are more or less one leg apart. My feet are parallel, they are facing forward. And in this place, in this pose, again, I'm going to tone from the root, right, from the base up towards the top of my legs, glutes actively connecting into my body. And I'm going to extend my arms to the sides. I'm going to turn the palms to face up. And with one inhalation, I'm bringing again my palms up overhead, lacing fingers and pointing with the pointers up, okay? Beautiful. Keep those glutes moving down and let's push that right hip to the right a little bit, again, like we did before. I'm making a point in keeping my chest facing forward and I'm going to elongate those arms as much as I can. Let's go over to the left again. Bring the left shoulder blade to face forward a little more and let the arms pull you over to the left. Push through the feet, come back up. Good, one more to go. Firm those glutes, lift through the sides, push firmly through the outer edges of your feet, lift the pubic bone towards your chest. Now we send the hips a tiny bit to the left, and I'm going over to the right. Right shoulder blade forward, push through the feet to lengthen a little more. We inhale, we come back up, and we release slowly, shake it a little. Bring your feet closer and shake them again. Good. Okay, I have a little bit more time for a tiny extra torture, I'm going to call it. So I'm going to widen my feet again. And this time I'm going to turn my right foot to the top of the mat, let's say. My back foot is still parallel facing the front, let's say, of the mat like we were doing before. Not the front of the mat, but the side, right? And now from here again, I want to wrap those glutes into the midline. Keep your hands on your hips for this moment. And as you wrap those glutes into the midline, lift the pubic bone towards your nose. Look at your right foot, right leg, and let that right knee bend. And once you find the place where you are okay holding with that knee bend, check that the knee is not collapsing onto the side of your big toe. You want to send it towards the pinky, okay? Once you get there, again, wrap those sitting bones or those glutes towards your tailbone, okay? And we're going to extend the arms. Beautiful. From here, again, I'm going to turn the palms to face up, the same thing today, and I'm going to send the arms up overhead. With my left hand, I'm going to catch the right wrist. I'm going to pull, and I'm going to keep that front knee bent as I pull myself over to the left. When I get there, the left shoulder blade, I'm sending it forward, so my chest turns up towards the skies. Come back up, bring the arms to the sides. One more. I'm going to lengthen the sides of my body over to the right. I keep that front knee bent for now. And again, I'm going to send my right shoulder blade forward as I bring the left arm over, catch it with your right hand and pull. Turn that chest up to the skies. Bring yourself back, push, release the arms, turn the right foot in, and we go over to our second and last side. I'm turning my left toes, my left foot, my left leg over to the back side of my mat. I'm toning again through the legs and the glutes. You can stay with the hands on the hips to start. Once you have that, let's bend the front knee. Good, I'm checking that front knee until I get to the place that I feel like, okay, this is the place where I can hold, and point that knee towards your pinky toe, okay? Lift the pubic bone, extend through the arms, bring the arms up overhead. With your right hand, catch the left wrist, pull, and let's go over to the right side. Right shoulder blade coming forward. Back to the center. Good, now I'm lengthening the sides of my body over to the left. Keep that left shoulder blade moving forward and bring the right arm over, catch it and pull. Back to center, push that left foot so you can straighten the front leg, release the arms, turn that left foot in, take a deep breath, good. And then from there, again, I'm going to keep my feet this time, they are both parallel, facing forward again, glutes moving down, sacrum moving down, lift the front of your spine up towards the chest, inhale, send the arms up. Exhaling, we hinge at the hips, we lengthen the spine, and we touch down whenever we feel like we are ready to touch down. You can add blocks, pillows, anything that you need under the hands. And I'm going to try and keep my sitting bones above my heels, so I'm not coming forward with my body. I'm staying more centered above the heels, like I said. Spread the toes, lengthen the spine. If you can, send the upper arm bones towards your body. So bring them back a little. Good. And then bend the knees a tiny bit so they are soft, okay? And give yourself a moment here to fold a little further if that's possible for you. And you release the neck and the head. No locking of the knees. And if you need to bend deeply the knees, do so, okay? It's all good, one or the other. You can even play with flexing and extending a little bit if you need. Good. And then from there, I'm going to lift myself a little bit, halfway, let's say, and I'm going to heel toe my feet until they get a little closer, and I can bring myself into a squat. I'm just adding it in here because it's always a good idea to add a squat to our practice. And from here, I'm going to just try and rest my hips down, elongate the spine, and take a couple of breaths. Good. Let's bring the hands behind so you can sit all the way down. You can cross again your legs here. We are at the time of closure, but sit for a moment. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Let's inhale, arms up overhead, and exhaling gratitude, palms together into the heart. Thank you guys so much for joining this practice today. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you soon again. Namaste.